A sunny winter day, coffee in hand, audiobook playing, and a full day of recording ahead. Do you want to see what it is like spending a day in the world-class Berklee studio with my students? Let's go!
I am Kemal Oksal, professor at Berklee College of Music. For over 20 years, I've worked as a music producer, conductor, and educator, leading orchestras, producing albums, and mentoring young artists. Now, I invite you to discover the stories that shape what we hear. Each week, I open the worlds behind the music, and whether you are a musician or not, you are invited. So, let's get started.
Today, I am bringing you behind the scenes of a very special project. 8 recording sessions with my students and a beautiful string quartet here at Berklee, where I am fortunate to teach. From the outside of the building to the very last note played, this day was filled with learning, challenges, and creativity. At the end of the video, I will share some of the final works of my students, so stick around for this. I have approximately 50 minutes drive. The best way for this drive is audiobook and coffee. See you at the studio. It's always exciting walking through those doors, knowing the talent and the energy waiting inside. By the time I got into the studio, our engineer Sam Melinazzo and his assistants, also Berklee students, had nearly finished the setup. These sessions weren't just learning experiences for my students, but also for the young engineers. It was great seeing students on both sides of the glass learning together. Okay, let's talk about the microphones we used and why. First, all of these are condenser microphones. For those unfamiliar, condenser mics are designed to capture incredible detail and sensitivity. They pick up the subtle nuances, like the resonance of a bow on strings as well as soft dynamic changes. We started with 2 room mics, Neumann U87s. These large diaphragm condensers are classics. Smooth, warm, and full-bodied. They beautifully captured the atmosphere of the studio. Right above the conductor's position, we placed a pair of Neumann KM84s in an ORTF setup. ORTF is a stereo recording technique using 2 cardioid microphones spaced 17 centimeters apart at a 110-degree angle.
While we are waiting, let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
Why ORTF?
You know, so I've done a few different things. Before I've used a Bloom line, and then I was made aware by a few professors that ORTF is more traditional for classical music. So that's just sort of what I was thinking there.
Yeah.
This setup mimics human hearing, offering a wide yet natural stereo image. It feels like sitting in the perfect concert hall seat. The KM84s are small diaphragm condensers, meaning they have smaller capsules compared to a large diaphragm microphones. The difference? Small diaphragms are incredibly precise and fast, capturing the transients and the detail with the extreme accuracy. That's why we also use DPA 4011 small diaphragm condensers on violin 1, violin 2, and the viola. They are known for their transparent sound. For the cello, we used a Neumann U47 FET, a legendary choice. It provides beautiful low end and presence, giving the cello a full and grounded sound that blends without overpowering. And finally, we added a Telefunken 251 tube microphone, a subtle magic touch that brings air and silky top into the solo violin. My approach with this class was to use the string quartet as layers, crafting new sonic textures rather than sticking to a traditional quartet recordings.
Awesome. As we do this, Vanshika, do you want to hear the first one or should we mute it?
Maybe just one layer.
It's going really good.
This is awesome. Really fun song.
Thank you.
Wow. Great.
It will be great, really.
Wow.
Each of my 8 students from different corners of the world brought their unique musical voice and vision. As a conductor, I always want my students to lead their session professionally. That's why we also work before the session on their conducting skills. We discuss the differences between conducting to a clique versus leading a live ensemble. Technically, when you conduct with a clique, you are focusing on shaping the color that you want while encouraging your players as a musical leader. They were excited and nervous, but I was proud to see how quickly they adapted.
The student's very confident, very
It's
good.
important, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also studied conducting.
I see.
She's good.
Very engaged.
Nice. Beautiful. Good job.
And naturally, problems arise. That's part of the job.
We set up a template with inputs 1 through 4, but channel 4 is not working, so now I need to remember every session to switch it to 12. Oh.
Whatever.
I just noticed this student's session is at 44.1.
And the fourth is D sharp, yeah.
There's a speed calibration issue, so
Yes.
I can try and set the word clock to 44 for this session, or we can soldier on and see what happens.
We will definitely have issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be slower.
Do
Right.
you want to change the word clock now? I
Yeah.
might let them learn the hard way.
Let's keep it.
Yeah.
Hard way.
Okay.
I'm with you. I will not tell anything now.
Yeah.
So at the end.
But being an all-around producer means finding solutions. Each challenge became a learning moment for my students, and watching them face these moments head-on was inspiring. Hearing voices and ideas from all over the world come together in one room. That's why I love about teaching here. It's about collaboration, growth, and finding creative solutions together. Let's hear our engineer Sam's thoughts for the sessions.
Pleasure to work with Kemal, and I'm not just saying that because he's got me on video recording. The string quartets are really fun for me because it really focuses, I think, a lot on the writing as well. I mean, obviously, I love setting up a lot of mics and having a lot of fun with that, but this really lets the work shine, which can be good. It can also, you know, if you're someone who struggles with your writing or you haven't come prepared, we're going to know about it. So this is not the kind of class that you can fake it, especially with a teacher that's going to hold you accountable like Kemal. So definitely it's worth doing your homework. I think there's this idea that oftentimes students think that the best project is the one that has the most meter changes and, you know, multiple key changes and really difficult motifs and things like that. And I've always put it this way: you're not going to go to Skywalker Sound and play them this song and they're going to go, hold on, you did 4 key changes? You're hired. You know what I'm saying? I would say keep it simple. What does Kemal say? Melody is king?
Power of the melody.
Well, always a pleasure,
Yeah,
Kemal.
with you as well, Sam.
The next day, we continued the journey in one of our Berklee classrooms. I met with my students once again, and this time it was all about listening, reflecting and learning. We sat together and listened to each of their recorded sessions.
So what I am doing, I am starting always with the either ORTF or Decca mics plus room mics, and after I am adding my individual tracks to give some punch. So here, let's add cello.
I asked them one by one, what did you like about your recording and what would you do differently next time? It was incredible to hear their self-awareness, their excitement and their honesty.
And I would have practiced conducting more, because I did practice conducting, but in the moment it's just always harder. It's always harder to focus on conducting and doing it at the same time. So I should have been at a place where, like, I could conduct this in my sleep, you know.
We discussed not only their recordings, but also how they could approach mixing and post-production, blending the acoustic recordings with MIDI, creating hybrid textures, balancing layers, and making the panning decisions.
What if we will do that?
What did you change just now?
I changed the panning. I separate the quartets. So means it will be kind of a double quartet thing. Can be.
These conversations were just as important as the sessions themselves, showing how the creative process continues beyond the recording studio.
You can consider.
Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope this inspires you to keep creating, keep learning, and embrace collaboration and growth. I'll see you in the next episode. Now, enjoy the highlights of my students' works.
Someone who isn't you. What to do? Oh no, what to do? How do I fall in love with someone who isn't?